Dexter Morgan is one of the most successful killers in history, and Resurrection made this clearer than ever. In just one season, we see him kill many people. So today, I'm going to go over every single person he killed in Resurrection. Ryan is a repeat sexual predator, wealthy, manipulative, the kind of man who uses power and privilege to prey, and he ends up in the Empire Hotel. Harrison knows him. There is a transactional edge to their relationship at first. Vape pens, favors, watch repairs, you name it. But Ryan's real crime comes when Harrison catches him in the act of drugging a woman named Shauna with intent to rape. Harrison intervenes, bursting in to save her, and in the heat of rage, he kills Ryan. He uses a toilet tank lid and smashes it over him until no more movement. What's fascinating is what happens next. Harrison, overwhelmed, tries to follow Dexter's code in the cleanup. He drags the body, dismembers it into pieces, hides it, dumps it. The blood slide isn't made, but the ritual of disposal, of erasure, is all there. Yet there's a leak at the dump, 2 parts of a leg falling out of a bag, which ends up triggering a police investigation. Ryan Foster doesn't stay dead in Harrison's mind. He comes back as a hallucination, scarred, damaged. Harrison sees him repeatedly, his face mangled from the killing, a constant reminder that once you kill, the echoes don't stop, they follow you. And Foster's case becomes a focal point for Angel Batista, Detective Wallace, and Dexter himself. The watch Ryan gave Harrison becomes evidence. Dexter later plants that same watch among Lady Vengeance's trophies to frame her for Ryan's murder, shifting suspicion, muddying up the mystery. The case becomes tangled with Mia's arc, with Dexter's lies and Harrison's conflicting guilt. Dexter arrives in New York, and what does he do? Does he try to blend in quietly, lie low, attempt a new life under the radar? No, he borrows someone else's identity. Problem is, the man he wants to become, Red Schmidt, is inconveniently still alive. And for Dexter, that leaves only one option. The stalking is familiar, almost comforting in a way. It's a reminder that this is Dexter in his element. Patient, silent, calculating, every step measured, every observation deliberate. He follows Red through the streets of New York, notes his routines, breaks down his habits. Every detail counts. Every action is part of learning how to be Red. But there's an unease here that wasn't present in Miami. The city is different. There's no nearby ocean to dispose of a body quietly, no warm nights to wash away the traces of a kill. Every alley, every street corner, every passerby is a potential witness or a threat. New York is loud, dangerous, and unforgiving. Eventually, Dexter acts. He intercepts Red, knocks him out, and sets up the scene with the signature plastic wrap, knives, and of course, the blood slide. It's the ritual we've all come to expect. But it feels different, because by killing Red, Dexter doesn't just solve a problem. He erases a man and assumes his identity. He's wearing someone else's skin, walking around as Red Schmidt, infiltrating Leon Prater's secret club of killers with a seamless disguise. That's dangerous. Back in Miami, Dexter's mask worked because most people weren't predators. They didn't notice inconsistencies. Here, he's surrounded by people who know what to look for. People who can spot a lie, sniff out deception, and recognize killers for what they are. One small mistake could unravel everything. Red's death isn't just another kill, it's the foundation of the entire season. Every subsequent move, every slide, every act of survival rests on that single lie. And the next threat to Dexter's mask is Lowell. Lowell isn't just a killer, he's a collector. An artist in the most grotesque sense. He's obsessed with tattoos, slicing them from his victims and preserving them like art. It's disturbing, grotesque, and to Dexter it's deeply offensive, not just because of the murder itself, but because of the way Lowell turns killing into performance. He wants attention, he wants admiration, he wants to be recognized for his work. And that's the exact opposite of Dexter. Dexter doesn't kill for ego, he kills to maintain balance. His trophies, the blood slides, they're hidden, sacred, a private ritual, not a display. When Dexter observes Lowell preparing to claim his next victim, you can almost see his disgust. This isn't precision. This isn't ritual. This is vanity and recklessness, and it makes Lowell dangerous in ways that go beyond his knives. Dexter does what he does best. He stalks, waits, and eliminates. The kill is clean, quiet, efficient. Another blood slide clicks into the box. But here's the clever part. Lowell doesn't just disappear. Dexter manipulates the situation to frame the Gemini killer for Lowell's disappearance. Suddenly, suspicion shifts. Eyes turn away from Dexter and onto someone else entirely. It's brilliant, but it's risky. Framing one killer inside a society of killers is like juggling fire in a room full of gasoline. One slip and everything could explode. Killing Lowell tightens Dexter's grip on Prater's society, but it also tightens the noose. Every step deeper into this world makes retreat more difficult. When Dexter first encounters Lady Vengeance, she feels like an ally in disguise. She isn't just another killer in Leon Prater's society. She presents herself as someone who kills by a code. She calls herself Lady Vengeance, claiming that her victims are all abusers, rapists, men who deserved what was coming to them. At first, this feels like a mirror. For Dexter, it's almost tempting. The idea that someone else could understand his dark passenger, not as a predator, but as a righteous force. He's skeptical, of course, but he watches, and for a time, he believes. But the truth about Lady Vengeance is darker. She doesn't live by a code at all. She tortures, maims, and kills innocent men. Where Dexter has rules and where Dexter feels compulsion, she feels pleasure. When Dexter uncovers this, the betrayal hits hard, because Lady Vengeance isn't just lying to others, she's lied to him. She represents what Dexter could be if he dropped Harry's code completely. Pure chaos disguised as purpose. And in true Dexter fashion, he finds a way to use her downfall to his advantage. He frames her as the killer of Harrison's victim, neatly erasing suspicion from his son. The resolution to Lady Vengeance's storyline is brutal in its finality. She's arrested, exposed, and thrown into jail, which leads to her eventual death. And while on the surface it looks like a suicide, we learn the truth after Charlie pays off a prison guard to stage her death, as Prater deemed her too much of a liability and an unnecessary risk. For Dexter, Lady Vengeance is both a temptation and a warning. She shows him what happens when the lie collapses, when the code is just a costume, and her death is the season's way of reminding us that even among killers, Dexter is truly special, and his code is the only thing separating order from madness. Gemini is fascinating. Dexter thinks he's eliminated the killer. He's convinced. But Gemini isn't just one man, he's two identical twins. The first twin, Gareth Pike, is handled with familiar precision. Dexter stalks him, sedates him with a clever switch, and puts a knife in his chest. For a moment, it feels like Dexter is in full control again. The rhythm of the ritual is comforting. But the disposal nearly goes wrong. Gareth's body in the shower almost exposes him to blessing. He walks away thinking the threat is over, but Gemini was never just Gareth. The surviving twin returns, furious and vengeful, and suddenly, Dexter's carefully constructed mask begins to crack. Second kill is one of the messiest in the season. Gone is the ritual, gone is the precision. What remains is chaos. Dexter taunts the surviving twin, provoking him into attack. The twin smashes a wine bottle against Dexter, but Dexter turns the shard against him, stabbing him in front of the entire group of killers. It's brutal, bloody, public, and yet Dexter slips away, managing to pin the blame for Lowell's murder on the twin. Gemini proves something critical. Even the Bay Harbor Butcher can falter. Even Dexter can be forced into improvisation. Control isn't guaranteed, and one misstep could destroy everything he's built in New York. Angel Batista is the one figure from Miami who can't let go. He never stopped thinking about the Bay Harbor Butcher. He never stopped piecing together the puzzle Dexter left behind. And in Resurrection, all the threads start to converge. At first, Batista is working in the shadows, noticing that things don't add up. He starts asking the right questions and looking the right ways, and those point him to the man he once trusted more than anyone. What makes Batista's arc so compelling is that it's emotional. This isn't Dokes coming for Dexter with suspicion and anger. This is a friend, someone who loved him like a brother, finally realizing that everything was a lie. And then, everything explodes when Batista brings his suspicions directly to Leon Prater. It's a fatal mistake. Prater uses the opportunity to trap Batista, strapping him to a table, and then turns to Dexter with the ultimate test: kill your old friend. The scene that follows is one of the season's most gut-wrenching moments. Dexter manages to free Batista, turning the tables on the trap, but instead of working with Dexter to escape, Batista snaps. He lunges at Dexter, choking him, rage and heartbreak pouring out as he tries to kill his former friend. For a moment, it looks like Batista will actually succeed. And then the gunshots. Prater fires into Batista again and again, cutting the fight short. Batista collapses, and after that, lies in Dexter's arms. In his final breaths, he looks at Dexter and confirms in his mind what he knew in his gut. Dexter is the Bay Harbor Butcher. The lie is shattered, and Batista dies with the truth on his lips, not before giving Dexter one final fuck you and blaming him for the deaths of Maria and Dokes. It's a poetic, devastating end. Batista doesn't die as a hunter or as a victim, but as a friend betrayed. One who finally uncovered the truth he'd been chasing for a decade. And for Dexter, the weight of that moment is heavier than any other death in the season. And finally, we come to Leon Prater. Prater isn't just another killer, he's the architect, the mastermind behind the entire society. If Red was survival, Lowell was control, and Gemini was chaos, and then Prater is destiny. Unlike the others, Prater doesn't just suspect Dexter, he knows. He traps Dexter in his secret vault, surrounding him with a grotesque collection of trophies, a hall of fame meant to intimidate, humiliate, and erase him entirely. But Dexter flips the script. At Prater's final gala, with Harrison at his side, Dexter turns the tables. He has Harrison drug Prater, straps him to the ice truck killer's table, and kills him in the way Prater always feared, but never expected, ritualistically. It's poetic justice, the architect of death undone by his own design. The disposal is haunting, a yacht drifting beneath the Statue of Liberty, a dark echo of Miami's waters, but colder, denser, final. Prater's death ties every thread together. Red's identity, Lowell's framing, Gemini's chaos, all of it leads here. But the ending doesn't feel like closure. Harrison isn't just a witness, he's part of it. Dexter's ritual isn't ending, it's evolving. And the scariest part of Resurrection isn't whether Dexter survives Prater's society, it's whether anyone survives Dexter. If you enjoyed this video and want to see every Dexter Resurrection Season 2 theory explained, click the video on the screen.